Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of ZILT. In this week's episode, we're gonna try to complete most of, well, this side of town. I'm not sure if it's east, west, north, or... I have to start giving stuff names and districts, I guess, but for now, let's call it the east side, and on the other side of the river will be the west side. This is the main street, which I start off with one of the two main streets of the town, so it deserves its proper bit of attention, but I'm not really interested in building very complicated housing blocks. Actually, I'm excited to do some more modern buildings in this series, but so far, I want to start with like a small old town and slowly work my way towards the outside of town, and that will be more modern probably. But first, this little area, the road you just saw on the left side, it's right in front of the camera right now. That's gonna be like my parking ring road. I want to have one of two access roads for tourists to find their way and have a large parking lot for people to park the cars when they visit the town. And what I'm doing right now is instantly making it so much more modern Dutch. These assets are absolutely fantastic. I'm not entirely sure who made them, but yeah, adding those red herringbone roads you see a lot in Holland, a little bit more modern style than the ones you see on the sides, and then add these raised crossings with speed bumps in them to slow down traffic, and it instantly feels so much more today. So I'm very happy to, and I'm gonna, well, do that a lot in this build. You see the parking road, the parking lot with the road accessing it. I just need to add some signs later, but first I just wanted to build this. A very basic parking lot. It's not very exciting. I always struggle a little bit with creating them because I only know one way, which is what I'm doing right now. And sometimes you see people making all kinds of cool creative parking lots, and I don't know how to do that, so one day I will try, but it doesn't really interest me either. So as you see, I also detailed a little bit simple on the background of those houses because I'm not gonna put that all on video. Even more so, there's a part near the canal which I already did off camera because I don't know, I did like 6 iterations. I made like so much versions of this town already. I settled up with this one now, but earlier on I already pretty much completed the whole city in one like long city skylines go, and then the day after I looked at it, I was like, nah, this is not what I want, because I want to keep it small, especially the old town. I want to have like a small, realistic old town, but it's not supposed to be a big city. So no, I just want to go in on like specific small details I built. But yeah, first I have to finish this. Well, some more backyards and small details, and I use my own assets most of the time here. Also starting to use those small wooden houses a bit more. Yeah, and add another speed bump here because I thought, why not? It looks great. It adds so much atmosphere. I also need to do some more road signs in the future. I have to figure out the best back with road signs for Holland. On the bottom of the screen you actually see like a big water pump which I built because I just wanted to recreate something in real life. And it's one of those places where diesel electric engines pump water out of the polders back to, in this case, the river. And then I started like thinking, well, I need some way to end the town on the side, and I looked, I think it's Zaandam or Horen, I think, on maps, and I saw there's this pretty cool small low-key boulevard, and I tried to recreate it, so that's why you now see the quay walls, which I'm working on right now. And I thought I'll just do like a small nice green city park on the side. I still do think the walls are a little bit too high raised for what you see in Holland. You don't see that large drop-offs, honestly, but I'm not sure if it's finished yet. Maybe I'll change it up, but for now it's fine. It looks good, and it serves the purpose by clearing an end of the town, because this is where most of this part already ends. Oh yeah, here I'm adding a little bit more detail with like a mud floor. Yeah, and here we start working on the city park. It turned out way better than I expected, actually. I was just messing around with these paths, and I thought, like, well, they look a little bit messy. And then I'm starting to use like the Prague curb assets by, I think, Ronix. These are fantastic. Yeah, they're Ronix. And it cleaned it up so nicely. And then later on, it's a very well manicured park. It's modern, as you probably see. Let's imagine once upon a time there were probably some, I don't know, factory buildings there, and they repurposed the area. But it looks great with the paths. I'm not sure. I just realized I should check if people actually walk there already. When I connect the town with the road, because I forgot that for a while. And I'm just starting using these ploppable hedges to make it like well manicured. I opened it up a little bit more later on to make it look more, well, a little less manicured, and that you can actually go on the grass, because I reckon these are one of those parks where people had to have a picnic by the end of the day, and that kind of nice things to do. But yeah, the vegetation soon will add like a whole bunch of, it makes it feel more natural, like this is actual place. Yeah, then I add these stairs. I think these kinds of construction, you actually see them a lot in Holland. And then I add this fencing so people could actually walk up to the side of promenade without falling off. I guess in Holland, if there would be shipping, if boats could lay there, there wouldn't be any fencing ever. But I thought it was a nice detail, because I want to make it look more like a nice, well-maintained park where people want to hang out. At least that's the idea. I have to figure out later on to find a nice cleanup between and the park, but that's something for later on. And then I just add some benches and some basic details you always see in a park. And now we're gonna start at the restaurant, and this is one I was really looking forward. I inspired it on one of the restaurants in, I think it's called Medemblik, but it is in the Zuiderzee Museum. At first I thought I would do a Chinese restaurant, because it would be fun to change a Dutch building to a Chinese restaurant, but it's now more a typical Dutch cafes, restaurant, whatever. But I like how it started to turn out, because I use these wall assets to brick up these walls, because normally they're empty in this asset. Then I had to figure out how to do this, and what I did is I used one of the walls and I just placed them slightly backwards so that they don't interlap, and then you still have those nice brick textures without stretching them. And I wanted to make it like a dike house, and a typical dike house has floors below dikes and up dikes. I have an asset actually for that, but I wanted to use this one because it is my favorite, and it is one of the best restaurants assets I have. So I want to have like a nice terrace down, because that's where you'll be not sitting in the wind. And I just guess people who like go on cycling day trips, they would stop here and have a nice, well, coffee or perhaps a beer, a little lunch, and some regulars from the town, I guess. Here I struggled a little bit with trying to get the grass sprites away, but I fixed it by using these ploppable pavement assets, because I do want to keep the stripes at other places. I think they're grass, I don't know what the name is actually, but the sprites, I guess that's the English word, my bad. Yeah, then we start off the terrace here with some nice brick texture. I thought it complemented the building very well. And I wanted to add like a kitchen or like an outbuilding towards the side of this building where they prepare the meals, and because there's an inside and an outside, of course. And I wanted to make it like very villagely, like something you see a lot here in the polders of the Netherlands. I think I'll be starting with the restaurant soon. I had some iterations, but then I realized I could just use the brick walls. Add a ploppable PO concrete block, which fitted quite seamlessly if you ask me. And then just the roof networks. And it easily looked like an outbuilding with the same style. And add some doors and that kind of stuff and hedges. But I really enjoy how this small... I want to do this more, like focus one episode on one asset, because it's so nice to detail one building like a lot. Oh, you got those closed windows for the kitchen, so you don't look into the kitchen. The gross kitchen probably. Yeah, those are the windows of the restaurant floor, I guess, and then there's an apartment above it. That's the way I saw it. And then just add some like HVAC and ventilation on top of this building. You probably see that a lot in real life as well for the airflow. I now realize I forgot some chimneys though, but I can always add those later. Okay, and here I'm adding this little bit of a side where some of the stock lays around. I always like tilting these pallets against the wall, because that's how a lot of people would put pallets against the wall, I guess. Yeah, and just adding some back boxes for supplies and like the roller containers and the Coke things. I guess those are things you probably see. I was trying to imagine what I would see behind a restaurant in Holland. And those hedges, and there will be some privacy fence. Oh, here's a waitress having a smoke. Some privacy fences here for the guests, so they won't see it. But I definitely didn't want it all to be too perfect. I thought that was important, because I don't think those restaurants are often that perfectly closed. Okay, and here we're adding some hedges. I'd imagine sitting in this restaurant with your family and then having some grass around it where the children can play. Maybe some chicken, maybe some animals walk around. Yeah, just quite typically something you might see in the polders here. Of course, the Heineken umbrellas, because it is Holland. And just adding as much tables as I can. Yeah, it's all these small details which make it the game still so much fun, that you have so much options in how to dress something up. Like adding those flower boxes, and you can make one building look like 1,000 different buildings. That's what I love. And some bike racks, of course, because it wouldn't be Dutch if you don't have bike racks. Yeah, and here's the fence surrounding it, and I thought, you know, when you're sitting there with your family, your children can go just run around in the grass and enjoy themselves and play around. It's something I used to do when I was a child, a lot of this in restaurants. Often you have maybe like a trampoline or something, or like a playhouse. I could have had a playhouse actually, now I think about it. But yeah, and you probably eat pancakes and that kind of stuff. Yeah, good memories. Oh, you probably saw that I also added some chicken. That's just so the staff can grab some fresh eggs in the morning. And with the egg prices going up, no, we don't have those problems. That's an American problem. Oh yeah, here I added stairs, and this stairs fits perfectly. I was so surprised. It's always a hustle, but this one was like perfect. Again, I added some PO concrete flooring to make it look more like a complete part of the restaurant, and add some tables upstairs for people who wanna look at the ships and the water. But I reckon it's probably quite windy there. Someone added some new trees to the workshop, including these willow trees, and you see them everywhere in the Netherlands. I tried to make them myself, they were really shitty, but these are fantastic, so they add so much for me to the workshop. So thank you whoever that was. Yeah, that was a nice surprise. I love that people are still adding trees to the workshop, and well, basically we're still uploading, some of us. And then it's just adding some vegetation, some trees, and tie it all together. And then I guess we're reaching the end of the episode already. So, guys, thank you all for watching. It took me a while to build this one, but I love it. It looks really great. And if you haven't done yet, please like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And I hope to see you guys in the next episode. thank you for watching. This was Jazz. Bye.